here's Brody Brazil.
Well, as of today, it certainly seems like tomorrow, March 14th, 2024, is going to play a pretty pivotal role in helping to decide the future of the Arizona Coyotes. It might be determined whether these 90-plus acres of land owned by the state will actually go up for auction so that the Coyotes could have a chance to bid on it, own it, and then build their new arena complex on it. I want to quickly dive through some of the backstory here to understand the details. This is all the very latest from 12 News, the NBC affiliate in Phoenix. As you know, the Coyotes are in year 2 of sharing Mullet Arena, Arizona State's hockey facility on campus in Tempe. But the team recently applied to buy these 95 acres of land from the state of Arizona, which are north of Scottsdale, kind of east of Phoenix. Again, it's on the northwest corner of the Loop 101 and Scottsdale Road. The Arizona Land Department, which controls all of the acres surrounding this, they could approve these 95 acres up for auction, again, tomorrow, 3/14. Is that Pi Day, 3.14? But I digress. Now, we do also know this. The appraisal for the land starts at $68.5 million. The state will not accept anything less than that. Essentially, if this is an auction, that will be the opening bid. Now, the actual auction itself, right? We don't know if the Coyotes will even be eligible to bid on this land. We also don't know if they'll have the winning bid, but the actual auction itself wouldn't take place for at least 10 weeks later. So we're already talking about May or June. Most certainly the hockey season will be over for the Desert Dogs when we even find out if they're able to purchase this land. You do the math, it's about $700,000 per acre would be the minimum purchase price. Pretty expensive, especially for unimproved Sonoran Desert land. It's just sitting there. It seems like a prime location, but there's not much to it right now. Here's the thing, one of many things, the Coyotes might not be the only bidders for this land. It's up for public auction. It's well known that this land is going up for sale, and the highest and best bidder will win the land auction. It's definitely not guaranteed to the Coyotes, even though they seem like the ones that have facilitated getting this put up for auction. Now, just to go over the land and the site here one more time, because I had this in a prior video, and I think I even misunderstood it. There's the Loop 101. There's North Scottsdale Road, which is kind of the border there between all of that developed area to the east and obviously all that open land to the west. But it's not all that big parcel right there. It's not that big chunk of land, because if you actually go on Google Earth and measure that out, it's more than 1,000 acres. What is that green rectangle right there? The actual 95, 100 acres or so, there it is, right there in the northwest corner of that intersection, but in the far southeast part of all that open space. So realistically, they're not taking all of that land. If my math and my measurements are correct, there's the 95 to 100 acres that the Coyotes are going to try and develop. Obviously, with that amount of land, we're not just talking about an arena, maybe also a practice facility, maybe also residential and commercial, and who knows what else they would put there on that development. So just gives you an idea of where exactly this sits. Now, a lot of people are thinking, if this goes through, well, that there's not much that can stop the Coyotes and they'll stay in Phoenix and it's the end of the story. Unfortunately, as 12 News also points out here, there are some issues even with this site and this plan and this approach. Now, the previous Tempe project, which was voted down last May, that was projected to cost $2.1 billion. Again, it was the arena, it was the entire complex. But even that $2.1 billion asked for large tax breaks from the city of Tempe. And in this case, it sure seems like if the Coyotes are going to buy this land, build this project, there won't be any public assistance. This does seem, at this point, we don't know much about the details because a lot of this is being uncovered as we go. It seems like this would be financed entirely by the Coyotes. So the cost, without any public assistance, obviously goes way up. The city of Phoenix has also told, I believe 12 News or other entities that 12 News found out about, City of Phoenix says there's no water, or right now there's no sewer to that property, that plot of land. Now, two parts about it. Number one, we're in 2024. It's certainly not impossible to bring utilities to that site. It's not far away from other developed and established neighborhoods. But the cost of that, the cost of the infrastructure, again, more cost, more time, all of that factoring into the equation of this land, which, yes, it would be great if the Coyotes could get it, buy it, own it, have possession of it, dictate what they want to do there. But there are these additional issues that come with this particular piece of land. Also, the site, they say, is, quote, vulnerable to flooding threats that trigger a variety of potential mitigation requirements. So again, it's in a floodplain, and in the desert, they have to be very careful of this, where the water goes when it rains a lot over a short period of time, and there's a lot of water to deal with. This is not an issue in terms of building here over the long term, but the mitigation requirements are such that maybe the entire site needs to go up by inches or feet, or buildings all need to be raised by inches or feet. So it's just a little bit more of an obstacle than the easiest possible path. Again, I think that's the entire theme here for this whole process in the Coyotes. This would be great. There's no question about it. They could secure a piece of land that didn't require a vote. It does require a winning bid. They could have a lot more control over their situation, but instead, there's still some issues with it. So here are my takeaways. Now, the Coyotes say that this site, north of the Loop 101, it would be ready by 2027 at the earliest, which would mean at least 5 full seasons at Mullet Arena, the 4,600-seat arena on the campus of ASU. I know that's not optimal. I know that's not what the NHL would want to hear. At this point, they've already gone into it. You'd have to think that they'd be okay so long as 2027 was promised, but even that seems like an ambitious deadline to get all of this done. 95 acres, it obviously seems like more than just an arena and a parking lot. I mean, that is a ton of space for an indoor sporting venue of 17, 18, 19,000 people. So the Coyotes are most likely going to eventually develop that entire land. It certainly seems prudent to just do the arena first, right? Because that's the pressing issue, the home of your hockey team, not to try and build this all at once. Why don't you build the arena as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and then worry about phase B and C of that plot of land? The high cost, like I said, infrastructure, even auctioning or winning the auction bid, or having the winning bid for the auction of the land, even that could cost way north of $68 million. What if there's somebody else in there who bid 73? What if the winning bid has to be 78? Now you're $10 million even over 68. Not to mention all the mitigations and things that'll cost money for this site. And just because of the arrangement and the agreement and the way that this would go, it doesn't seem like there's any legitimate way that you could turn to local government and request public funding for any of this project. So no breaks, there's mitigations, there's infrastructure, there's a lot of fine details to this particular piece of land. But getting in on this land, it seems, would avoid referendums, it would avoid public votes, because it would avoid public money. But it is possible to lose the land auction. Again, what we're about to find out tomorrow, we think, is if this land will actually go up for auction. The Coyotes still have to win that auction and then deal with all the rest of this stuff, and then they can have a permanent home. And I hate to keep including this. I really do. I don't want this to be the future or the existence of the Coyotes. I want Utah to have maybe their own expansion team someday. When they're ready, they can build a brand new rink. They don't need to use the Delta Center. I don't want to see hockey go away from the desert. I really don't. I'm saying this out of love and compassion for hockey fans in the Valley. Just pay attention. Pay attention to this situation and what's happening here, because Utah is looming. And Gary Bettman has been very patient with Phoenix and the team, and what didn't work out in Tempe, what apparently didn't really work out in Mesa, what obviously didn't work out in Glendale, and the fact that Phoenix is not really an option on the map right now. I'm just saying, know that there is some pressure here outside of just, internal desire to get this sorted out. Utah is definitely looming in this situation. They're not necessarily going anywhere. I forgot to mention at the top of this video, I think I forgot to mention this, the video you're looking at right here is actual footage of the site on the northwest corner of the Loop 101 and Scottsdale Road. That's courtesy of 12 News in Arizona. They shot this video. So that is what it looks like right there. The land that the Coyotes would be purchasing. and then building on the 95 acres. Again, I hope this works out for the Desert Dogs, for hockey fans in Arizona. I think they've been through a lot already in 30 plus years of existence. It would be nice to settle all this down and make it history instead of currently what they're going through. You made it here to the end of the video. You know I appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. And also, if you've never seen me or this channel before, that's awesome. I'm glad you found me. But do me a quick favor. Make sure you subscribe down below before you click away so I can definitely see you back here next time.